Can you believe that?
Can you believe SoCal snowman? That's
Can you
crazy.
believe that, man? And I'm not up in the mountains. I'm up in the regular city area, and it's got snow out here. It's cold as hell. It's
We
been
had a
cold as shit
little.
for a while now.
Yeah, it's below freezing out where I'm
Oh man,
at night.
look, key. I want that hazmat
Oh, what
guy
is it, man?
right there. It's hazmat.
Oh, you want hazmat? I want
Yeah,
Thanos, dude.
dude, I want Thanos too. I would
I
love to
want
play with
Thanos
the
so
stones, man.
bad, dude. The moment Thanos comes up on my shop, I'm just gonna pin him, and it'll take how long it takes.
Yeah. Dude,
What's your
I low
collection
key
level
want to
now?
pin this, but I'm not gonna pin it. I'm not gonna pin it. I'm just
You
gonna let
want
it.
hazmat? Do you have Luke Cage?
No, I don't have Luke Cage. Oh,
You don't
you
want
need
to
Luke
play.
Cage
You
as a
need Luke
combo.
Cage with hazmat because Luke Cage prevents your minions from having their power changed or reduced.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. But hazmat affects the other person, doesn't it? Or it affects all
Yeah,
cards.
both of you. But then when you play Luke Cage, you're not affected. Only your opponent is.
Got you. Okay.
You
Yeah,
see what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Okay. Yeah, yeah, I got you.
So
My level is right now like 14, 17.
okay, I'm 2,500, dude.
Yeah, I already know you've been banking it in, dude. You're fucking
I
crazy.
think
Are you
it.
already 80?
I'm level 78,
Good God, man. Okay.
so I'm not quite 80 yet.
I'm nowhere near, man. I'm 43 right now. Like I was having a good run with hella good, and then all of a sudden, I just started hitting a brick wall, man, and my shit
It's
just
funny,
kept
bro.
dropping. Like I would lose because of like stupid locations or
Right,
just not pulling the
right.
right cards. You know, it's a hell of
Yeah,
a gamble, but you know
it's hella
when you
good when
get
it
it, it's
works,
hella
though.
good. Yeah. So
Yeah, I know it's
I'm about to
depressing when you
switch the
hit it.
name to hell of a gamble and
It's
instead
like
of hella
really
good.
yeah, like your deck is like when you're playing against it, like you know for certain there's a chance, like you have a real chance of losing no matter what. Like, you can't
Yeah.
do nothing against it at times.
Yeah, if you don't get your Cosmo or some other
Yeah.
bullshit, like I've had shit slip on me where like they use one of those that'll like move the location.
Oh, switch the
Like
location up.
all your guys will switch like move to the right or something like that, like some shit like that, or or switch to the left. I've been like hit with Cosmo like that a couple times, or just like random happenstances where it's just like, dude, come on, man. But yeah, man, the weather's definitely been cold, different change of pace. I kind of like the cold-ish
Hey,
weather,
really quick,
like
do
wear a
you do
hoodie.
all your quests in Marvel Snap or do you miss days sometimes?
No, it depends. Like I try to make sure that at least I try to do two like every 6 hours, so that when it replenishes, that I'll have a full chart, and then when I've got the time, I'll try to take down like a couple of quests at a time, and then I try to kill like the week's worth of like the 30 or whatever, the 25 quests you got to do. I try to kill that like as quick as possible. So like
Oh
every
yeah,
now and
yeah. So you try to
then,
kill that whole thing down to get the
yeah,
whole row. Yeah,
yeah.
I
So,
always play. Basically, I always play at night because
mm,
I play like after 7 o'clock every day.
mm-hmm,
Because like if I play after 7 o'clock, then all the quests for the day have been accumulated, and I
right.
just knock them all out at once. So that's
Yeah,
kind of
okay.
like what I've been doing.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. Yeah, I get up like early in the morning, you know what I'm saying, and I'll be brushing my teeth and I'll play a few games and see if I can try to tackle some of the quests or whatever, and then they'll try to like they'll replenish like midday or something like that. But yeah, I just try to get on whenever I can and then kill as much as I possibly can, and then I'll like if I kill some quests, but then and I'll have like the week or whatever saved out. I try to
Hmm.
wait until like towards the very end of that week, like end of the day Monday or something like that, and I'll just try to complete a whole bunch of quests, and then I'll just let them sit. Like with like I'll let like four sit, and then I'll let the next two pop in so that on Tuesday morning or whatever I can automatically cash in four quests and be closer to finishing that next week or whatever, you know, and run it like that.
So, but if you don't do your quests though, they just disappear. Like if you don't do them daily,
Hmm.
like they
Well,
disappear.
if you completed them but you haven't cashed them out, they stay. So when it comes time for like the next week, you'll already have four quests that have already been completed, and then and you pop those off. and they still won't
Right.
leave. Like they don't when the new day resets, it doesn't just give you like a full 6. It's still like every 7 hours it
It's
gives
every
you 2.
7 hours they give you.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Or
so
yeah, it's every eight
I
hours.
just run it like that. Yeah, I'll just do like my 4 when I know it's like 14 hours or something like that. Before the setup, and then I'll just leave 4 so that I can collect my 2, and then I'll already have like a start on the week. For cashing it out,
The
unless
hell?
unless I had like something like down in the season pass quest to complete. If it coincides, then I'll do it. Like if it says complete some missions or something like that, I'll just drop them to do it, or I'll just save it. But but yeah, man. But yeah, dude. I got some good playtime in over the weekend so far. Trying to freaking play like some Hogwarts and stuff like that. I did want to check out some Atomic Heart. I was hearing kind of like not so like fantastic reviews, but it was just kind of like it's like it's good. So I did
Right.
want to check it out and see how it was myself, but I was trying to finish up on Hogwarts because I could feel like I was like close and whatnot
Right.
and stuff. So I was just like, I'm just gonna keep going, man. I'll get to Atomic at some point. So, and I think I have like, I think next week. No, actually, yeah. This week coming up at the very end is Wulong. So I don't know how long I'm gonna stay on Atomic Heart, but I'm definitely gonna be on Wulong as soon as that shit drops. So, but yeah, man. Have you been playing anything besides Snap and Hogwarts?
Dude, just Hogwarts and Snap, bro. That's all I've been playing, man. Just Hogwarts and Snap. Like I play Hogwarts during the day when I get a chance, and then Snap at night
Oh,
before
thank you.
bed.
Yeah.
And I wish I could play more Snap, but I do get a little bit like annoyed with it at times
Uh huh.
because I don't know why, but I feel like I only really want to play when I have like quests and stuff to do. But like I
Yeah,
do
it
try to
makes you
play.
not want to play
Yeah,
it
it
when
makes
you
you not
don't
want
have
to
quests
play it,
because all
right?
you're gonna do is just lose cubes or something like
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm
So it's like
saying?
I
If you
feel like
lose, like there's no benefits.
right. So it just feels like right exactly. So it feels like at least when I'm losing cubes, I'm gaining experience and credits, so I don't mind.
Right. Yeah, you're
But like
completing
when you
quests and
don't
things
have
like
any,
that. So it's like,
right? So
okay.
that's fine if you lose. But then
Right.
like when you want to just play, you're like it's a challenge. My daughter's banging
Yeah.
on my door, dude. I don't know if you hear my daughter banging
Yeah.
on my
she's
door.
she's trying to come in and join the
He's trying to
project.
come in. Yeah,
That's
she's being
funny.
the background there.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, man, I totally agree, dude. It's like, especially when I like go in and I crack out all the missions and all of the season pass quests, I'd be like, damn, should I even keep playing? Like, okay, what's my goal? More cubes? I guess I'll try to play for more cubes, but you risk so much, just playing for specifically cubes and not like, the quests and stuff like that. So then
Totally,
you're
man.
like trying to get like boosters because you have nothing to give you like the extra little currency to like upgrade your cards or whatever. I kind of wish that flowed a little bit more, but I mean, I understand it's their way to bottleneck you. But yeah, I got like 42 cards that could be upgraded, and I'm
I
I'm
know.
not doing it because I'm only trying to
Yeah.
upgrade the
That's
ones that I
fine
will
though.
use.
Oh, you only upgrade the ones you'll use? That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, the ones that I'm using in a deck, I'll upgrade those, or if it's like a card that I might like that I've used before and I know I'll use again, I'll do it. Sometimes I'll upgrade if I just want it to get to that next, collector's chest or whatever, but other than that, I just hold it, you know what I'm saying? Cuz like there's cards that I have not put in my deck and probably will not put in my deck. And it's like, why would I
Yeah.
put those to infinite, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just a waste.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah, I
unless
hear
there's
you.
like achievements unlocked, if they gave you shit like that, we're like, oh, if you upgrade like you know 100 cards or something like that to infinite, you get like a shit ton of gold or something. You know what I mean? I'd do that, but other than that, there's no
Yeah,
other
sometimes I just
benefit.
kind of like sort my collection in upgradable and just start at the top and just upgrade across. Just upgrade what's available. Yeah.
So you have like no white cards right now?
Like what do you mean, like base cards?
Yeah. The base. You have like no like it. They're all common or higher
I
or
always
whatever.
hunt. I always hunt for the base for the 25 credit for one
Yeah.
collection level. I always hunt for
Uh huh.
those. So like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
always looking for ways to squeeze out, either turn a card
One or
infinite or
two
find a
levels.
new variant because you get like basically you get the credits back. Like you'll hit the 50 credits and it's like the credit you spend to get those levels you kind of get back. So it's almost like
Yeah.
free. If you can do the 25, when it takes only the very first level you can do for 25. Like only the very, very first
Yeah.
level you can do for 25. So it's like I try to hunt those out because those are like the best deal. You can really get like quite a few collection levels for that, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
difficult because like the only way you get those is if like you said, like you split a card or like you got a new variant, or you got a new card from your collection pool or something. Then like
Mm-hmm.
then you can get a 25er, but otherwise like if I don't have any 25ers, then everything is just a base 50 credits for one collection point. So it doesn't really matter like what you're leveling up. Like every single level after the very first one, it doesn't matter
Mm-hmm.
if it's 100 or 200 or 300 credits. It's all 50 credits essentially for one collection level.
Mm.
So basically, you're just the only discount you ever get is the very first level.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you end up leveling up. You're going to get the same amount of collection level. Um, you're gonna get the same amount of collection level on it.
Right.
So I kind of just like don't worry about it. I do kind of hunt to some degree, like you're saying, for the cards that I do play a lot.
Right.
But then at times it's like I don't
Yo,
really
what's
care
up?
because
Who
it takes a
is
long time,
Arvind?
man.
How's it going, bro?
Yo,
But
what's going on?
yeah, it's definitely like a grind just to like get all those things, and then you really only see like the bonuses for the cards that you use. Then you'll get like a whole bunch of like upgrades and stuff like that for those boosters and stuff. But
Yeah, no doubt, man, no doubt. So yeah, I basically don't even care. Because like my boosters are for those cards anyways. It's not like it'd be cool if you can use your
we're doing
boosters
good, man. We're chilling.
on whatever freaking card you want, man. That'd be so sick. Could you
Yeah,
imagine?
that would
You
be
just
nice
have
if you
like a
just had a
pile of
generic
boosters.
booster and
Yeah, it's just
you
like a
just
pile
use
of
them.
boosters you have. Kind of like credits, it's like a currency you're
Mhm.
collecting, and then you could just spend those on whatever cards. That'd be so dope, dude.
Yeah. Hey,
Like I
Arvin,
think,
do you play Marvel Snap? That's what we're
yeah,
talking
we're
about right
talking about
now.
Marvel Snap.
It's a good ass game, man. If you haven't played it,
It's a
you gotta
really
play
good
it.
game. It was on our top 10 last year for both of us.
Yeah, for
But it
sure.
was it's really really freaking good. It has some problems with like card collection when you get to the higher ranks, like where we're at. But the game is just so good. It's just like
Yeah.
such a well made game.
The
So
one thing that I hate the most though, out of a freaking collector's cash, is getting those damn avatars, bro. I do
me
not
too,
want an avatar. Do not give me an avatar.
dude.
I
And
think I've
also titles too, right? Like
Yeah, I mean titles are like whatever. Yeah, I really don't care about the titles either. Like I've been using Superman from like Planet 52 or whatever and like I think I might have changed my title like once or something like you're like I don't care about that stuff. I want cards, bro. Give me cards, man. Like I'm literally hunting like the next cash. Hopefully I can get a card. And I low key hate getting variants as well. Like I really would just want to buy the variants and just get all new base cards. Like that's what I would prefer. If I could just level up, get a collector's cash, and get a new base card, I'll look for the variants later. I'm stacking up gold, so I'm okay with waiting until later until I save up enough to get a cool variant like a pixel deck or something like that. Because I mean, half the time you don't even stick with the same type of deck. Like there's like a new meta and you slide over to the new the new card that they
right.
release and you just keep moving and then they crap all over the previous one, so it's like you don't even want to use it anymore. Like I don't know how long freaking Modoc is going to be around for being used for after the next one, even though he's not like that great of a card or whatever. They just like to crap on him like that.
Well, I mean, like I just think like if you had a pool of boosters instead of like the boosters per card, I
Right.
would probably be more willing to spend gold and stuff on variants. because then I know that I can actually upgrade just that one variant
all the way.
all the way. Like if they just let you upgrade whatever you want to upgrade, I think people would actually spend money. I'm not kidding, because then
Yeah,
you know you can get what you want. Now you have to freaking get the freaking car, the variant, put it in your deck, and play games and hope that's the car that
that
collects
you get the
boosters.
boosters for
It's
that. Yeah,
retarded hard. So
yeah. Like for instance, my Modoc, right? All I did was upgraded it to the common level, so it was green, and then I've just been holding it. I've got like 100 and something boosters. All I'm waiting is till I hit 50 on the season pass so that I can get the variant and then just upgrade the variant for
right,
everything.
I
Like I don't even
know.
want to upgrade the
I
base.
know. So your Modoc is just stuck in low key, low level because you want to
Yeah,
upgrade the
yeah,
variant.
it
Yeah, I
just
know.
looks common,
I
and I'm just
know.
rocking it until I get that variant because that's
I
the
wish,
variant
dude.
got more
I wish
pizzazz.
they would, man. I wish they would let you just upgrade what you want to upgrade. It's so
Yeah,
frustrating. I heard they're gonna
dude,
do
people would
something
have lit
about that.
decks like all over the place.
Yeah. So yeah, man. So that's just where I'm at. I love Marvel Snap. It's definitely got me whipped pretty good, but I definitely find problems with it all the time. So just the way it is, man. Just the way it is.
Yeah, for sure. So we got a few things that we wanted to discuss today. Some Xbox stuff, some PlayStation stuff, and then we definitely wanted to have a big talk about Hogwarts Legacy. Have you beat the game yet, or you're just still playing through it?
I'm like 15 hours in. I'm like level 20, so I don't think I'm.
Okay, yeah, nah, you're not. Unless
Yeah, I'm
you
not.
unless you really like going through the story. I was doing a lot of searching and stuff. I think I racked in like 38 hours, something like that, by the time I beat it. But
Okay.
But yeah, so you if you're like searching and doing like the Merlin's trials and all of that stuff, like
You could
you
really
know,
spend hours. Yeah.
yeah. It'll take some good time, and I can definitely do more because there's a few quests that I didn't even do. You know what I mean? So I was contemplating going back and doing those. I wish that was what the PlayStation trophies were based upon. If you just did every quest possible, not necessarily like all of the like find these trinkets and all of that stuff. You know what I mean? If I could just do all the
Right.
quests, I would be 100% okay with doing every quest available. That's how you get the trophy. And you don't get the trophy like if you didn't discover a quest, you got to go find that quest, and then you'll have it or whatever. But
Yeah.
but
What did you think about that? The way you level up by having to like complete that collector's guide and like.
the collector's guide helped. It gave you experience and stuff like that. But you still got your experience from defeating enemies and
Yeah, but from what I understand, you can't hit max level. What was your level when you finished the game?
when I finished, my level was 32, 32 or 33, something like
Yeah, I
that.
hear like it's
Around
really
there.
hard or impossible to finish the game or get to max level without
Mhm.
focusing on doing the book. It's like going
Oh,
and
okay.
finding places,
Yeah,
collecting
the field
pages, like
guide. Right,
yeah, the
right, right.
field guy, like doing dumb stuff like that. You can't get max level without it, which is kind of frustrating.
It's
I
a
hear like a
bummer.
lot of people are frustrated with that. Um,
Yeah.
you
It's
know,
definitely a bummer. That you would have to complete all the field guide. I wish that your Revelio just like illuminated things for a lot longer. I feel like it
it,
goes away so quick. You're just spamming the shit so often, and it's like even if I have the upgraded Revelio to give me like range, if I try to do a 360, sometimes I still gotta hit it a couple times while I do my 360 just to check all around me because it's like instantly going away. And so
yeah. Anyways, I guess let me just start off by asking you, like,
so
so
are we gonna jump into the Hogwarts Legacy
we're
talk
gonna do
first?
Hogwarts now. Or we want to do other
I
stuff
guess
first.
we might as well talk about it. We're already here, so
All
you
right,
got
so
it playing on
Hogwarts
the side.
Legacy. We're gonna do our Hogwarts Legacy conversation here.
Yeah, we might as well
Okay.
talk about
It
it.
sounded like you were jumping in, so I was just gonna start asking you
Arvin,
questions.
do you play Legacy, man, or you against it or what?
You against it? You got that dumb topic? Are you against
But,
it?
but go ahead. What was your question?
Uh, like, what was your overall like feel of the game? Like, what did you think about it? As far as like I don't know, because for me, it gave me like a feeling. It wasn't just like fun. There was something that was very much like escapist about it that made me like, oh my gosh, the feeling this game is giving me is like almost like like nostalgic in a way. Like I was getting like chills, like when I was going through the very first missions, and then it
Hmm.
cut to the owl flying to Hogwarts. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy! Like how well they're capturing that feeling we all wanted. You know, whenever you saw the movies
Of
or when
being
you read
in
the
fucking
books,
Hogwarts,
of
man.
being able to go be a wizard. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that feeling that we all wanted. You know,
for
growing up, I
sure.
felt like they captured it so well, like a feeling that you never thought would be like satisfied. And I felt like this game like was it was doing that for me like big time.
Dude,
Like the
man.
story felt so authentic, like a Harry Potter story. Like the way I was, it felt like there was mystery and I was intrigued, just like in the movies. Like
Hmm.
it's like such, it was like, wow, how did they write this story so well? You know, like, I mean, I was just really, the experience was real for me, bro.
Yeah, I
Experience was real
mean,
for me.
I'd have to say that, like, the world itself or whatever, I thought was awesome. I thought that they had enough stuff out there to do. Like you could just look and search for hours, and you still wouldn't have found everything because it's just so much. And then there's certain things that you need certain spells to be able to do and whatnot. And then there was even certain puzzles where it was just like I was staring at it for a good minute, like, damn, how do I do this shit? Like it's been a while since I've been stumped with like how to figure out a puzzle besides it just being like, oh, there's like an obvious pattern here, do this or whatever,
Yeah,
or
there was
trying to
one
figure out
puzzle
like
I was
how it works.
doing. Do you remember that puzzle when like you had to go find the crown for that goblin, and then it was all the moths. You had to
Hmm.
light the moths and throw them onto the door and
Yeah,
unlock it. You know
right.
that one room where like you had to put a moth on, you had to spin it up and crank up the platform, and
Hmm.
then it cranked up the other side too. So when you went up there, you can grab the moth off that thing. Dude, I did not see the moth on the wall. You know when you go up and then you get off the platform and there's a moth like behind you? I did
Hmm.
not see that moth. So I was
Mm.
like hunting and hunting and hunting and hunting, dude, for a freaking moth. So I like went back to the starting zone. I was trying to pull that freaking platform, that box. I was trying to pull it down there, and like every time I pulled it too far, it just disappeared and turned into green smoke. Like it wouldn't
Mm.
let me bring the box past a certain length. I was like, dude, I don't know how I'm supposed to solve this just because I was missing that darn moth on the wall. I
Right.
didn't see it. It wasn't even like a puzzle thing. I just missed it. I just didn't see it. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, that was driving me crazy, man.
I mean, I've definitely had some issues with the moths and stuff, because like I had one moth and then I did something like I was walking towards a wall and because I didn't explode all of the openings, I was like, oh, I'll just use Bombarda or whatever. So shot the wall and then the moth flew away. I could not find the moth. So I was like, dude, what the frick? Normally it's supposed to go back to where you picked it up at, but it did not. It went somewhere else. So I was like lost. Luckily, it wasn't like a main puzzle. It was just for like a side item or something like that. But I was just like, damn, dude. So I tried to like grab a moth all the way further into the area and bring it back, but I had to climb over a ledge. And of course, you climb over the ledge, and your Lumio goes away, so the
Yeah,
moth goes
obviously.
back.
So the moth
It's
goes
just
back.
it's like,
Yeah,
ah,
yeah.
damn, dude. All right, so I'm just SOL. I restart this whole shit.
Dude, I
So
can't tell you though, man. Like, dude, exploring Hogwarts was like totally one of the. I couldn't believe how good it felt. Um, like I couldn't get enough of it. I still wanted to search, but then I was like, remember what you were saying? Like, you should just focus on your main storyline first,
did you do
before like
that?
you start exploring. So I did. I started doing my storyline. So I think I have every spell now. I
Yeah.
haven't got the freaking. I still haven't done the beast class because I do other things. So I still haven't got
Oh,
my flying horse or whatever.
oh, you
Um,
gotta do that, man.
yeah, I still haven't done the flying
But
horse yet.
honestly, like, I never used the mount, the running or the flying. I never used either of those. Like I would use them like once or twice just because I hadn't used them, but it was just way easier to do the broom. The broom is just a little bit easier to travel with. That and then fast traveling.
The broom.
But yeah, man, I just was like I was enveloped in the world as well. And I loved like every moment playing in it, you know, and like the quests, the people you had to talk to, some of the stuff, you know, you could tell it was just like, you know, like time wasters, like hunting for gobstones or
Yeah, I
you know,
agree,
like
man.
finding like
And
certain things.
some of
But
the quests were a little wordy. Like you sitting there pressing along, or waiting a long time to get back to playing, like a long time.
yeah,
Um,
there was
did
a
you
lot of
run?
cutscenes,
Did
a
you?
lot of
Yeah, a
cutscenes.
lot of scenes. I was feeling like it was a little too much. Um, he comments quite a bit when you're in the open world, but not too bad. Like it's not annoying, level of
Yeah.
comment.
Yeah, like
I
he's
do.
talking to himself out loud, but he's
Yeah, like he's
talking to
talking to himself
you.
out loud.
He's dead ass breaking the fourth wall.
He's breaking the fourth wall. I wish like they gave him like a little companion, so it felt a little bit more authentic when he was talking to himself.
Hmm.
Um, but they tried to make him say things that would maybe make sense to say to talk to yourself, maybe.
Yeah, to
Because I
give you
mean,
like a
some
little
people
hint.
do. Because some people do, talk to themselves to some degree.
Mm.
So like it was like a little believable, but also a little bit forced. Like you said, breaking the fourth wall, like it was deliberate. Like they were really trying, to uh, you know, let hints, give you hints and stuff.
Right, right.
Um,
Especially if you're standing around in the spot too long. You know what I mean? They're trying to like help you push it. But it's like it's not like blatantly giving you the answer. You know, it is just
right.
giving you a hint. So I thought that was cool. That they weren't just sitting there giving you the damn answer to the puzzle or trying to do it for you, you know. I kind of think that those kind of break you out of immersion when you like when they're like, do you want to hit this button to do the puzzle for you or something like that?
Right.
It's like, nah, dude, I want to do it myself. Just give me a second, you know. But
Yeah. Like, did you run into any bugs? I ran into a few bugs here and there. It was a little spotty.
every now and again, I did realize that like sometimes items that you were able to pick up would be highlighted when you use Revelio, but when you walked over to them, you wouldn't be able to touch them, and it was because they spawned in slightly below the floor, and so the game wouldn't register that you should be able to pick this up or whatever because it's
Dude,
kind
did
of
it
like
ever?
underneath the floorboard. The
I haven't
floorboard.
had that happen to me. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Did
I've
you ever?
literally had to use like Akio to pick it up and
Oh,
lift it up,
interesting.
and
You can
then
lift it
I
through the
can.
floorboard? Interesting.
Well, it wasn't underneath the floorboard, but it was just like slightly, you know, submerged up under it, and so like it wouldn't let me click it, but I could tell it's highlighted gold. Like I should be able to touch it. So if I go Akio, it pulls it up and brings it back, you know, above the landscape, and then I can open it up. Then it's happened to me a couple times. It was just like really weird, and you know, and so I just got used to it. Like, oh, okay, I'll just pick it up. Like something must be blocking it so that the sensor won't let me hit square to search it. But
Right.
you know, whatever. But
Interesting.
yeah, man. I
Like,
thought
did you?
that
I had this one, dude. Well, I had this one situation where I went to the spell, my talent screen,
yeah.
and I would cursor over a spell, and it shows you like a little video of the spell and what it does.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, mine wigged out, and it would just fuzz.
Oh, that's weird.
I would cursor over a spell to watch it, and it would just be fuzz on every single talent tree, like it
Hmm.
totally bugged out.
Yeah, that's weird.
I had some weird bugs in the game, man. Like some really weird bugs. Like I don't know, it just didn't feel quite like you know, as polished as like, maybe like a Elden Ring, of course. I just think it
The
showed
Elden
some
Ring
of
had
its I
bugs
think it
in
shows
some
some of
areas.
its flaws. As far as like the world, was a little bit like you mentioned, like repetitive or like just fetch quest. Little things that just keep it from being like a 10, like a perfect 10 to me, as far as like Elden Ring level.
Mm-hmm.
But it gets so many extra bonus points because of the way it captures that feeling that we all wanted to be a wizard. It does that superbly. Like
Yeah, and I would
I
have to
can't
say that
even
the
say how
battling,
good.
the combat was just awesome. Like it was never a moment where I was just like, oh man, this shit sucks. I think actually I'd say the only thing that did suck was using the like the highlight for like your target, and sometimes it wouldn't catch the highlight unless you looked at it in a certain direction or whatever. It wouldn't highlight your next item, whatever you're picking. So just targeting in general, not in combat only, but like in my room of requirements. I'd have like two tables next to each other, or a jumping pot and then a table next to each other, and it would always like select the table before it selected the jumping pot. I would have to look at the jumping pot in a certain angle in order
Mhm.
to be able to get the prompt to hit to collect or whatever. But other than
Dude,
that,
the
I thought that
combat
combat was awesome.
was incredible. Like absolutely mind-boggling good. By mind-boggling, I mean I'm blown away how the developers developed this combat. Like I'm just blown away. They nailed it. I mean,
Yeah,
absolutely
it was
shattered.
definitely
It
awesome.
felt so right. It felt so good, dude. Like, oh my gosh, man. Like Arcane Studios, they nailed it with Batman. They nailed it with Hogwarts. I cannot believe how good the combat is, man. It is so much fun. I can't even believe how good it feels.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just blown away by it. Absolutely, wow. Probably the best
yeah, like
combat system I've ever played. It
I
might be the
definitely
best
didn't
combat system I've
mind
ever played.
I definitely didn't mind getting into fights and waving my wand around when I could. I also enjoyed sneaking, and I thought it was funny because that was one of the bigger bugs that they had was like he would go through quests, and they had like specific points where they would spawn in an ashwinder or something like that. And if you were already in uh whatever it is, the invisible spell, I forgot what it's called, like disembark or disenchantment or something like that. I don't know what it's called. But when you go invisible and they pop in, they would say something to you that they were already scripted to say, like, oh, nice of you to join us, or and die, or something like that, or whatever. And they would say that, but like they couldn't see you, so then they would just stand around and like they wouldn't
Yeah,
attack you. So then you could just go up behind them and petrify them real quick, and and they're just like done. But there was a couple of instances where the game would just kick you out of the spell, and so now you're totally visible, and you got to engage into the fight like how it was, uh, how they wanted you to do. But yeah, it was definitely fun to like try to sneak around, get around those guys. Um, Upgrading some of your abilities with your talent trees was dope also. Like, you know it wasn't hard for me to decipher where I wanted to put my points at, because not all of them were like the greatest, but I definitely could see, you go in different routes depending on what you want to do. Like I heard if you were to go like the the tree accessories route with like the cabbage and the poison spitting plants and stuff like that. Like I heard that you can upgrade those and they'll put in work. Like the chomping cabbages will tear up trolls and stuff like that.
yeah. I still haven't thrown out a cabbage out yet. I wanted to try that out. Yeah, that sounds cool.
Okay, yeah. If you upgrade it to where you can throw like two out when you just only throw one, two come out free of charge, or one
Uh
extra one
huh.
comes out free of charge, and then you also juice it so like I think like they can deal more damage or something like that. Then that they I heard they put in like crazy work. Like they'll take out some shit like really quick. And I never did for some reason come across like the seeds for the chomping cabbage and for the plant. I guess maybe I needed to go to one of the stores again or something like that to buy it. But I just never ended up going to it because I didn't really use them like that. I literally only used them to the point that a quest was like required, from like a teacher, like, oh, use chomping cabbage to do this or that or whatever. You know what I mean? And I had some, and so I'd use them or whatever, but I never did end up growing them. I thought that capturing the beasts was cool. It was a little difficult when you play in like the normal because you got to keep hitting square, and like the more rare the beast is, the more you got to kind of battle with it, you know. But that idea was cool. Um, there was a couple of beasts like I couldn't find a Fooper, so I never got like the Fooper feathers, and there was probably like maybe one or two other beasts. I kind of wish that they had better icons on the map for like what the nests were, instead of having to go over each one. You know, it just
Right.
takes too long. But yeah, I enjoyed, you know, snatching them and becoming a poacher myself, you know, and then just, you know, going and selling them to the the beast lady, and you know, getting like 125 for like each one that you get in excess. Um Freaking, I didn't really play around with the beast too much though. I also didn't do too much enchanting, because I heard that you should just like wait until you get to like the end of the game, when you have like max level, and then you enchant that stuff, because you kind of go through equipment so quick. And I think the only benefit that I had spotted was that you could get your ancient magic up, like the more slots or whatever that you have to use the ability up, if you were to enchant like a whole bunch of stuff. So I might do that later, since I've already, you know, completed the main story and stuff like that, you know, I finished the other stuff up. But
Yeah, I wonder how
yeah,
hard it is
man,
to platinum that game.
I don't know, there was one guy apparently that had platinumed it in like 5 hours or something like that.
So maybe
Like
it's not too hard.
he was just on it. I don't know. I don't know what he was doing, or it was like it was 5 hours after the game had dropped, at like, you know, that early time frame.
Oh, what?
So I don't know. So he might have been somebody that had
No
gotten an early
way.
copy of it or what. But I
Oh,
mean,
like he was already playing it or
if you,
something?
yeah, I don't see how you could do it unless you knew exactly where everything was. I don't know. It still
Dude,
just seems like it would take too long.
just sitting through those cutscenes and
Yeah, you would
quest
probably
lines, like,
Yeah, you would have probably had to have already played it, and then you just went back, got it again, and then you just skipped like, and then there's some cutscenes you can't even skip. So like 5 hours, it just does. If you just did strictly the main quest line and you skipped everything possible, I still don't know if you could do it in 5. But you know, hey, maybe somebody was able to manipulate their time.
hmm.
But yeah, man. What was your favorite spell? Like,
Well,
what
I
were your
mean,
go-to spells?
I haven't beaten it yet, so I haven't like
What have you unlocked so far?
experienced all the spells. I mean, I
Or
don't
what
remember
haven't
them
you
all, bro.
unlocked?
I don't remember them
Okay.
all. I don't remember the names very well. I mean, I primarily right now I use the one that pulls people to you.
That's Akio? Yeah.
Okay. Akio.
And then what?
And then I blast them with like the close range fireball.
The
So like I
close
pull
range
them
one?
to
That's
me.
Incendio. Yeah, that just the fire spray? Or the actual fireball.
No, not the long range fireball. I do use the
Okay.
long range fireball as well.
Yeah.
Um, but I basically use I Accio and then I use the close range and it spurts out fire.
Yeah, yeah,
But
the
I like
Incendio.
the improved Accio because it pulls all of them and then I blow them all.
Okay, so you
Um,
upgraded the Akio to do multiples.
so if anyone's nearby, all of them come. And
Oh,
then
okay.
I upgraded the Incendio. Is that what you're saying? Incendio
Yeah, yeah,
to
Incendio. Do the
do an
wave?
explosion and the wave
Yeah,
out, so it
right.
hits all the guys that I pulled. So
Mm.
like it just like nukes dudes, you know. So
Yeah.
and then I do use the fireball for long range because sometimes you have those guys with the red shield
That
and
just fire as
you
hell.
gotta
Yeah.
fire. And I upgraded that so it splits off and has like homing missiles. Like
Right.
so fun, dude. So freaking cool, man.
Yeah, man, it's
Like
dope using it. I loved using Crucio and Avabra. Like I Avabra the shit out of somebody if I could, and Crucio was really good.
I don't know
Just
what those
because.
do.
So Crucio is the first forbidden spell that you can learn.
Yeah, I don't have any forbidden spells.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's like the first forbidden spell that you can learn, and when you use it, you curse an enemy. It causes like a slight bit of health drop or whatever. But when you curse them and you have the upgraded one for the talents in the dark arts tree, if you every time you attack them, a ball shoots off of them and hits another one of their comrades, and so then they become cursed. So you can hit like one guy like 8 times, and he can curse like 6 people around him. And then you slide in with the Vabra, and if you have the upgraded Vabra, you hit him with the killing curse, and then everybody who's cursed dies along with him. So it just does this big rope string out, and it hooks onto everybody that's cursed, and they all die in one
Dang,
go. So
that's sick.
so I like using that shit and fucking around with that. Um but like my main go-tos were I don't know all the spells, but the definitely the fireball joint that you can shoot from afar. Bombardo, which is another uh red spell that does like causes explosions, and so it's really good. It does really good damage. And then I think it's the defendo or something like that, the red one that you can throw, that's like a slash. It's like a moon slash. It just like freaking travels, and it'll hit like multiples if they're in the same in the same pathway or whatever. It'll hit a couple of them in there. But I like to use those a lot. So I'll hit them with Crucio, and then I'll just and then and hit them all up and stuff like that. And then if I'm able to get enough, then I'll Avabra them. But yeah, only thing that I didn't like about Avabra is that with certain bosses, it didn't just instantly kill them.
Right.
So it was kind of like, oh, okay, well, they put like a restriction on the shit, but you should be able to kill. You should be able to
Yeah, but
kill
that
them
would
with one gun.
trivialize the game, right?
Well, the problem with it is that you don't get it until like way towards the end. Like it took me, I was
What,
damn
the
near
killing
done with
curse?
the, yeah, I was damn near done with the story, with the main story by the time I got the Avabra. I had like maybe like one or two, actually like the one big mission I had, and I got a Vabra. so it worked really good during that mission. But other than that, I didn't have it the whole game. So I guess if you just did nothing but the main story, and then did the side quests to get all of the forbidden spells and stuff like that, and then yeah, it would be really good. But Avabra has like a crazy time limit on it, so like you can use it like maybe like once a minute or something like that, or like once like every 2 minutes. It's got a long wait span, so you can't Avabra the shit out of people. But it should definitely, like, if you use it because of the wait time, it should definitely make sure that it kills the target that you hit it with. But yeah, I just like playing with it. I don't know about you, but I had some disappointments with the game. I thought a lot of it was great. But you'll have to tell me when you get to that point. But I was a tad disappointed with the outcome of the game, like the ending of the game and the path that I decided to take or whatever. It was just kind of
I was
like,
gonna ask, did you go crazy evil?
there's no way to really go crazy evil. Honestly, it's not that much of a game changer on your decisions
Hmm.
that you make.
Hmm.
Like if I decided to be a dick to one person that sent me out on a mission to collect shit, like the
You
Gobstop
just
girl.
you're
Have
just
you
a
have you
dick,
found
right?
her?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah, the
did her
Gobstone.
mission, and you could take it from her, but that's like as evil as you could be, right?
Yeah, so I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna take these. I can't even use them. I don't even know why they would even give you the option to take them and you can't do anything with
Just
them.
to be a dick,
But yeah,
right?
so I was just like, you know what? I did all that. I'm just gonna take these. And I was hoping that I could like extort her for some money, but that wasn't an option. So she was just like, "Oh, you're rude. You're just like the other upperclassmen or whatever type crap." There was a couple of times where like there was like one woman who wanted me to capture this animal for her that she's seen a whole bunch. And she really wanted to, like, she said she wanted to like protect it, but she also wanted to like use its feathers or something like that. And so I was like, yeah, I'll go get the bird. So I snatched the bird up, and then I came back to her, and I was like, yeah, nah, I'm gonna keep the bird because it's like obviously you just want to use the bird's feathers to your liking. You don't want to
Uh huh.
actually save the thing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, I'm just gonna keep it. I'm just put it in my habitat and use its freaking, use its feathers for myself. And it's just like, oh, you're rude, and then nothing happens, so like there was other choices where you could like spill the beans to people if they asked you about what happened in the vault or whatever at the bank at Gringotts. Like that shit's irrelevant. So there was a lot of questions and decisions that you had to make that didn't really affect the game as I thought it would. I thought it was going to affect the game more. And so the last decision that I had made in the game, I was like, oh yeah, this has got to affect it, right? Like I got to see what's going down with this one. And yeah, I was just like, damn, okay, it's like I didn't even do shit. Like it was just continuing business as is. So I was a little disappointed with that, the fact that they
Yeah.
didn't make the decisions more weighty and whatnot.
Yeah, I was noticing that when I was doing some research. Like if you come to a choice, I would search it on Google to see what they said, as the outcome, and there is
Yeah,
no outcome. It's
yeah.
just like nothing changes, has any impact like on the game
Yeah, you
whatsoever.
get more money if you had to return something and then you're like, yeah, but I'm gonna need some more money. They just be like, yeah, certainly. Or damn, I didn't know you were into extortion or something like that. And then they would
Yeah,
give you the
I
money and
know.
then that's
That's
it. You
it.
just go
I
on.
know.
So it's
I
like, okay,
know.
yeah, I'm gonna choose that every time. Like if I bring something to you, I don't care who you are. I want money for that. Like, hey, I went in, for this item and it took a lot longer than I thought. There was a lot more to do. So there was like spiders and shit. So I'm gonna need some compensation for that. Oh yeah, yes. Certainly. Thank you for your help. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
so evil. So evil, man.
Yeah, it
Dang,
wasn't
you're
evil at
one
all.
evil guy, dude.
I low key I low key would have loved to have been able to target any of the students or the teachers
I
and
heard that you can
hit them with
use a
something.
curse on a student and you get sent to Azkaban.
I don't know. Maybe if you got turned in or something. I don't even know. Like I've tried to use it in a room full of wizards or students, and it just flashes. You know what I mean? Like if I try to use Crucio or whatever, it just like spazzes out.
Huh.
Like it doesn't work, or like it's still like needing to recover or whatever. So it never did anything. I'll have to try it now that I've finished the thing or whatever, and I just want to run loose. I did hear something that was interesting though, that it does matter about the house that you choose and some of the quest lines that you will have.
Right.
Like I
And
guess for some,
all the houses act differently as well. Like they're different
yeah,
environments, so that's
right.
kind of different to play through again to try a different house. Did you
Yeah,
just do the hat or did you choose a house?
so I had done like all of the I was trying to pre-game it. Like I went and I downloaded the Hogwarts app, the Harry Potter fan club app or whatever, and then you answer all of those questions, and then that sorting hat chooses what room you want to go into, or what house you belong to, and then I did like the wand, my whatever that creature is, the Expecto Patrono creature that you get and all that stuff. So when I went in, I already had Ravenclaw picked. So I went in with Ravenclaw. And that was the sorting hat gives you the option to choose something else if you want. But I was like, nah, I already picked, I already got Ravenclaw, so I'm gonna do it. Apparently, what is it? Gryffindor has like the most quests. Apparently, it's like a lot more quests to do in Gryffindor than in any other house.
Of
And
course.
then there's like one of those that does take you to Azkaban. What did you pick? What house were you?
I just did the sorting hat and it put me in Ravenclaw.
Oh, you're Ascot Ravenclaw too. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
that's just what it put me in,
interesting.
and
Okay,
I just went with it. I
okay,
just answered the questions and it put me in Ravenclaw.
got you. Okay, so yeah, so I was definitely thinking about trying to check out like one of the other houses, like maybe check out Slytherin or you know, Gryffindor or Hufflepuff or something like that, and just see what other stuff they have. But that's a lot of quests to go through. You know what I mean? And play the game
Right.
again. I would probably just do it in like story mode so that they'd be a lot easier. And it was also a trip because like if you put it in story mode, you can catch creatures with just the press of a button. So you could just scoop up creatures like crazy, and then sell them, stack up all your money, and then switch back to normal or whatever. But I actually made like the majority of my money was from selling all my gear because once I
Yeah,
found out that you couldn't get any of the charms that were on your gear off to like collect them, and
right.
all the gear was good for was just like the cosmetic look, and you were gonna have to constantly change. Which that is one thing I wish they would update or change on, that is that you could just change to a look, and then it doesn't matter what you put on, you just have that look, and then you can change that look later if you'd like. Because it was annoying that every time I found like a new cloak or something like that, having to switch back to look like the dark arts cloak. You know what I mean? Because that's the one that I really liked. So like having to go through the whole game and just every time I got a new piece, switch and transmog to something that fit my style, it kind of was annoying. But it's cool to have all of those different fits out there and stuff like that. That's dope, and I kind of wish that they could have done more with the enchanting and stuff, on there. But
Yeah, I feel like I have so much stinking fun spell slinging, dude. Like it's so much fun just slinging spells, even if I'm not fully optimized. Like
mhm.
even if I'm not doing something broken, like you're doing, like just killing everybody. Like I don't care because I'm having so much fun dodging and deflecting and doing all
Yeah,
that fun stuff that I don't care. And then I also don't care that I'm not utilizing like potions and plants and like finding all the different builds because I'm happy enough with like the combat and the spell slinging. Like I feel like I don't need anything more. Like I'm not
yeah, and I'm
seeking like
I'm
any
I'm
more
good with the
power.
Wigan Well potions. Like as long as I can keep my life up, dude, I can run them down. Like it's just a matter of time. But I mean, like there's been certain times where it's just like, oh, I guess I'll just use these potions. I got a bunch of them, and so it's like might as well just use some. So I'll just use them up in like a certain area, and then I'll never touch it again. But like that was one thing that I never really used was the L1 options. Like I didn't use mandrakes, but like once, and that was just for the class requirement that I needed. I didn't use thunder brew potions except for like when I needed, and then when I just had excess, and I was just like, let me use them, and I just used them in one battle. And then like the chomping cabbages, I never got more after I got rid of my supply. You know what I'm saying? The Venus spitting joints or whatever, like those same shit. Like I just never used any of that stuff, like all of those other potions and different things. It was just straight spell slinging and Wigan Well potion,
Yeah,
and
the
that was
green
getting
ones,
me for
right? The green
yeah,
ones.
yeah, yeah, the little green
Yeah,
potions for
yeah.
the health. Yeah, that was it. So, I was able to do everything I needed to do with that. But yeah, man, it was awesome game, man. It pulled me in. Like I was waking up early in the morning thinking about it. I was, headed to bed thinking about it, you know what I mean? Just wanting to play it some more. I was looking for every opportunity. Oh shit, I'll wake up at 5, they sleep, you know what I'm saying? I'll get in some extra time. Like it shit put me back into the old days, you know what I mean? Where I used
I
to wake
hear
up
you,
at the
man.
crack
I hear
and
you.
just get
I
it
hear
in,
you.
Me and you, we hit up Del Taco, grab a whole shitload of tacos, man, and just be in the room gaming our minds away, man.
Totally, man. Totally. Absolutely, dude.
Yeah, man. So it was definitely a great game. I would say that it would definitely be a solid contender for game of the year this year. You know,
Oh, yeah.
I
It's
don't
so
know.
well. It's so well done. I can't imagine. Other
Yeah.
than it's not quite polished enough. Like it's a little wonky sometimes. Like it's a little glitchy.
Mhm.
Um, it's just like the story. At times, they can pull you out of the combat because the combat is so amazing. To
Yeah,
pull you out of that combat is like such a travesty because you just want to be fighting all the time because the combat is so incredibly well done
for
that it's
sure.
like really frustrating when you're not able to, fight and they pull you out. But the story was intriguing enough. You bummed me out a little bit by saying you weren't happy with how it concludes. But I mean, I wasn't happy with how Harry Potter concluded. So it's like I'm intrigued with Harry Potter all the way to the end, and then you're like, wait, that's all he was. That's
Yeah,
all
well,
Potter was just a was just unlucky. He wasn't
Like
anyone special. Like that was really annoying.
the
So
end of it, the end of it is more so like they give you this buildup of like a choice. You know what I'm saying? Like as you go through the chambers trials and stuff like that, like you get questioned once, and I made the mistake of giving like an evilish type of their evil version of a response, and then I got a response that was like, "Oh,
evilish,
okay, yeah, yeah."
evilish.
So yeah, because there wasn't anything evil about it at all,
That's
but
funny, dude.
it was just like I I found what they were talking about interesting, and then they were a little perplexed that I was interested in it, and I'm like, "Oh shit, maybe I triggered something." Like they're gonna like not let me go further with this or what? I don't know. I'll see what goes on. Business as usual. You know what I'm saying? And then when it got
That's
down to the
funny, dude.
very end, it was another choice. They literally blatantly asked me, "Are you gonna do what these guys wanted you to do, or are you gonna do your own thing?" And I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna do my own thing." And he was just like, the guy responded, in the way that he did, and I was like, "Okay." And then shit happened. We got in a fight, and then it was like the end. And like you get that like in cutscene or whatever, but it's like I guess in a way it's less of an outcome than like Elden Ring. Like if you choose to like scorch the world in madness or something like that, you know what I'm saying? The game is over. You scorched it in madness. That's it. But this one, it's worse because it's like, oh, you got the video of what you did, and then you wake up in the bed at Hogwarts, and you can keep on like searching through your stuff. Like you didn't get any stronger. You didn't get like there was no change in you. It's literally business as usual. So that's what was disappointing. It's like, damn, why would you give that climactic you know, ending or whatever, and there's no difference. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I thought that was a
It
little bit
is
of
so
a
weird.
bummer.
I don't know why they missed the mark. I just think like these games, their ambition level is so high, right? Like, you want your combat to be perfect. You
Hmm.
want your, story to be interesting. So you don't do a great job, like integrating choices into the world because that takes more time. You might, you get a little lazy on side quests, or you just do fetch quests. Like, you spend so much time like building Hogsmeade. Like, I can't imagine how much time it took to just like build this world from scratch, right? Like, games get so ambitious that like you end up just having to cut corners in certain areas. And like, so I give them, some leeway because yeah, there are problems, that are here, but what they chose to do good, they did
They did great.
absolutely great. Like
Yeah.
what
Right.
you could tell they chose where to spend their time and resources, right? You could tell. And it was worth it. Right. So it's like it's so incredible those things they did good that you can just the things that aren't so good are a little more glaring, right? I feel like that's how like Elden Ring kind of like hides some of their glaring issues, because their greatness is so spread out. Like it isn't in pockets with Elden Ring. Like the whole thing is just like so great
Yeah, yeah. It's
that
like
the
the whole
areas that
grand
they
idea.
did cut, you don't really notice or care because it's so spread out. Where in this one, it's more concentrated. It's like concentrated areas of greatness,
Right.
right? And but the greatness is great there, right? So I agree. Like I can easily see this being contender for Game of the Year. Um, we got some other big hitters coming out this year, so we'll see. Um, but I don't think I would say. I'll ask you this: let's
Hmm.
say Elden Ring didn't exist and this was in place of Elden Ring last year, I think I would still choose God of War Ragnarok as Game of the Year
Hmm.
over this. Or would you choose this as Game of the Year?
I don't know, man. Um, I I really enjoyed God of War's story, but I just like really enjoyed playing in this game, and I wish that it was more. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. It leaves me wanting like expansions and DLCs and shit like that for this, even though they said that there is no plans to do it. Uh, so I would kind of, just in my opinion, I would probably put this as over God of War just right now.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So I mean,
Not
that's just
God of War
that's my
2018 though, right? Like imagine God of War 2018 is the first
no.
time we've seen that new version of
Nah,
God of War.
no,
That re-
that one's kicking ass. That one's
yeah, that one's like a
taking it
top
right
five
there.
all time kind of thing,
But
right? Yeah.
yeah, but I'm just saying, like, as of, like, right now, playing both games, beating both games, I enjoyed the shit out of God of War, but I really, really fucking enjoyed Hogwarts. And I still want to go and play it and do more of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's making me, God of War, made me contemplate wanting to platinum it, but Hogwarts is making me really, really consider it. If I didn't have any other things to play, I would definitely keep playing it and trying to go through like all of the little quests. And there was a couple of other ones that I just never picked up. You know what I'm saying? But I also tried to run both different endings. And I won't go any further than that. But yeah, so
Hmm.
yeah, I just really enjoyed Hogwarts, man. But
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. I just think God of
you'd put
War,
God of War
it's
over it.
just so brilliantly polished and acted, and the story and the combat is arguable which one's better. So, but I do think Hogwarts might have the most fun combat I've ever experienced in a game. Like I legitimately mean that. I'm not just being hyperbolic. Like it's really, really fun, man. It's so much fun. Like you said, like I never get tired of having a freaking spell sling duel with another wizard. Like it never gets boring, dude. Like it's
And
so so good.
I didn't come across like any situation that seemed like it was like overly challenging, like for no reason. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like everybody that I encountered often was almost, you know, in the red levels above me. And I was still able to deal damage to them. It's just like it's just gonna take time. But like when you're playing in God of War, like once they get to a certain amount over you, dude, it's like you're taking too long. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta be OP, to drill through them because they're gonna take you out too quick. I felt like I could take hits and I could dish it in Hogwarts. So I feel like the combat in that sense was a little bit more rational, especially with you being a god of war at one point in time in your life. You are a god, and shit is able to compete against you. And it's not a god.
right.
It's just fucking things from a god. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. It's just yeah. It just seemed like the power was inadequate. But this one, it definitely feels like, hey, you're a fucking wizard, man. And if you know it and you crafty enough, you can get it done. You know. So, but yeah, man. But enough of Hogwarts Legacy. We'll definitely go back into it once you finish it, so we can rate it and maybe give it our number 1 through 10 or whatever. But let's talk about one of those topics we got, man. So I guess the first topic we can go off of is let's go with the PlayStation Plus games of the month of March.
Let's do it.
So it looks like for March, just for the basic, essentials or whatever, we have Battlefield 2042, Minecraft Dungeons, and Code Vein. Now, I've got an Xbox and I have Game Pass, so like Code Vein was out like a long ass time ago, for free on Game Pass or whatever. I played it and it was cool, but I didn't like enjoy it enough to want to stick with it because I felt like it was like a little slow. It is like I believe that one's a turn base or something close to that. Maybe
Right.
not a turn base, but like in a small little bubble for you to fight in or whatnot. Battlefield 2042. I didn't get into that one. My father-in-law did, and he played it for a cool minute, but I don't think it had longevity at all. Like I think it was like sales were low on it, and I just don't think it enticed people as much as they wanted or whatever. You'd have to tell me if you experienced 2042 at all. And then
No.
Minecraft Dungeons, Minecraft Dungeons is, it's Minecraft. I think that's probably maybe the only decent, like, legit, game out of this stack right here. Just because Code Vein is like my own,
What
what?
do you mean by only decent? Legitimate? Maybe
Like,
decent, but like legitimate?
well,
These
I
aren't
mean, like,
legitimate games.
they legit, you know what I'm saying? Because they come from good developers and whatnot. But I'm just saying the only one that would entice more people. I don't know if getting Battlefield 2042 is going to bring more people into the game. Is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like more people would be more inclined to jump into Minecraft Dungeons since they got it for free than to play Code Vein or Battlefield 2042. But I could be wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what their strategy is when they put these games up here, besides like giving you some breadcrumbs and stuff like that. I don't know if the developers who agree to put these games on here is like, oh yeah, if they do that, they'll play the game a lot more. And then, we just introduced a couple of DLC packs, so maybe they'll spend money on those. I'm
Right.
assuming that would be their idea, but I just don't know if Battlefield is going to do it. If getting it free is going to make people like want to check it out. Cause I never bought the shit when it released on time, and I'm not going to, like, I'm going to put it in my library, but I probably won't ever crack it to see, what it's hitting for. But what about you?
Yeah,
How'd you feel
Battle
about this thing?
like so I played Code Vein. I was super bored by it. It's got the most boring combat ever,
It's
dude.
slow, right? It's like
It's very
super slow.
slow. It's not very it's not very, let's say, like challenging enough to like entice you to keep playing.
Mm-hmm.
Um so it's a pass. I think it's a hard pass. Like I would not recommend anyone like really playing that game. If you have literally nothing else to play or do, maybe. But it's not worth it. Like I
I'll
don't
just
think
go
it's
play
gonna
like Monster Hunter or something like that.
it's almost a bad game. It's not quite like bad, but I mean like it's not good. It's like very fair below fair.
Right.
Minecraft Dungeons is cool, but like just for a short period of time, in my opinion. Like it's pretty shallow in its entertainment. It's pretty fun
Mm-hmm.
entertainment, but it's very shallow. There's not a whole lot of there. There's not a lot of customization. It's very much doing the same thing. There's not a whole lot of growth there, but it's cool. It's all right. And then Battlefield 2042 is it's kind of interesting to me because I did want to play it. Like when they were showing the trailers and stuff, remember we were talking about it. We thought it looked pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
We thought they were kind of making some interesting adjustments, and then it just got like totally trashed
Shit
up
on.
when it launched.
It
And
got it got shit upon. Like somebody with the Hershey squirts just defecated all over it. Like it just did
and
not
I didn't
survive that.
have any desire, man, to like play it after that. And so
Which
it's a
is,
bummer because I wanted to play it. Will I download it? I don't know. Probably not.
I'm
But
not gonna
is
waste my
is it
space, man.
is it the best one on this list? I think it is. Like, is it the
Mm.
most intriguing one on this list? I think of what's there. I think it is.
I
Like, I
think
don't think
maybe
you're
like
going to
as
get much
quality, as
joy.
far as quality goes, I think
Yeah,
yeah,
like
you're
I think
right.
it has the
20
highest ceiling.
2022 is gonna be,
Yeah,
it's
it
gonna be
has
like a
like it
better
may not
quality,
be
but
good. It may not
the
be good. I've never
gameplay.
played it, and then Dungeons is the best game, and that's sad. When Dungeons is the best game they're giving you for the month, that sucks. But I
It's
think
rough,
Battlefield
but
has like the highest ceiling of being the funnest. Like it has the,
yeah,
the best chance of having a higher ceiling than the other two. And it's
I hear
free.
you.
So like you might enjoy it, especially if you like multiplayer games, like you might really enjoy it.
Hmm.
So that's like my take. I feel like Battlefield has the best chance of being a good game here for free.
Yeah.
But otherwise, these aren't the greatest choices. These aren't the greatest choices. There's a chance Battlefield could be, but otherwise, it's not the greatest choices. You probably could have found Battlefield for $5 on offer up somewhere, like so.
For sure.
You know,
Most definitely. um but yeah, so I mean,
and then
besides
what's
these
kind of
crumbs,
cool is the premium and extra games,
right. So
which is
you
kind of
got
like where the conversation is here. You have Uncharted, Legacy of Thieves, which I feel like, come on, haven't we all played
it's a
all these games
PS5
already?
collection. Isn't
I
it a
mean,
PS5 collection?
I think so. But they're
I thought
doing
the
away
whole
with the PS5 collection soon, so maybe like that's like their way of like reintroducing it.
yeah,
But
but I don't want each of the PS5 collection games to be re-offered again as like your premium. This is your premium deal. Like, come on, bro. We had it. We had it. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody who's got a PlayStation at least knows a friend that had a that has a PS5 and could have easily signed in and just added all that shit to their library. Like
yeah, I think like
everybody.
yeah, I think everyone's played that. Rainbow Six Extraction, I never got a chance to play that. I couldn't like figure out the whole account linking. They wouldn't let me play unless I had like an account linkage, and I couldn't figure that
Mm.
whole thing out.
I played Extraction on Xbox because it was on Game Pass and uh it was cool, but it didn't have like a lot of longevity for me. Like you had to play when you played one character and you went into a mission or whatever. If that character didn't make it out of the mission, that character was then stuck. So then you had to grab another character who, let's say, if you played with like one dude for 6 hours or something like that, ran through like 6 or 8 missions with him. So he's like a level 7 or an 8. You got to start again with a level 1 and try to go into a mission area to rescue your guy. And so you'd have to build all of them up again and again, and it's kind of like
Interesting.
that part didn't really it didn't seem that great to me. That
This
like
this this Tishia, I hear it's
uh-huh.
supposed to be kind of like a Metroidvania, which might be fun. And I think
That's
that's
the
a
girl
brand
that
new
turns
game.
into birds, right? Yeah, it's a day
Yeah,
one
I think
game.
so. It's a day one game, so that's
Yeah, she
interesting.
turns into animals.
Immortal Phoenix Rising is a fun game, but it's super mad old. Like once again, you could probably find this for $5
It's
on offer up.
it's been on Game Pass,
It's
but
been
yeah.
on Game Pass, right? And then Ghostwire Tokyo, that was new last year in March. So it's like this is the interesting thing here. Like
Mhm.
this, we also noticed, I think, on the April premium and extra that um, Horizon Forbidden West, which is their newest exclusive last year, other than God of War, is going to
Yeah.
be coming to PlayStation Premium and Extra too, and it's feeling like about a year out. So it's feeling and like here's Ghostwire Tokyo, which is basically a year out from when it launched. That maybe the model here could be them bringing these games out a year after they launch. So like maybe we could see God of War at like the end of this year on premium and extra. I would not be surprised if God of
Mhm.
War
Me as
Ragnarok
well,
is
yeah.
on premium and extra at the end of this year. So that's still a long ways away, but that's still hope that they're going to have their best games coming out at some point in time on premium and extra just at a delayed rate. But a year, I think that's too long to wait. That's too long, I think, to wait for a
It
game,
is a pretty long time for sure.
right? So, yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that that some of those games are pretty solid to have and whatnot. On there it's like options, especially getting that day one. And I think I want to say Tachia is a like a triple not a triple A, but like a third party, developer or whatnot, like a new indie developer. But I'm not quite too familiar because I know we heard a little bit about it, but not too much.
Yeah.
From just like little
So
presentation
the thing
stuff.
is, like, you could probably get Ghostwire Tokyo, Immortal Phoenix Rising for $5, 5-10 bucks and offer up. So why are you spending the monthly fee or whatever, the yearly fee to buy this when you can get these games already so cheap on the used market? Like that's one of my biggest problems with this. Like those are cool that they're bringing them out, for everyone to kind of
Hmm.
enjoy. But at the same
Yeah.
time, they're games you can easily get for like really cheap on the open market. So I don't really know like what value they're offering you. That's why with Game Pass, when a brand new game launches on Game Pass, that's like $60. You can't get it on the market for cheap. Like so what they're
Right.
giving you is like real value. Where I feel like yes, they're giving you new games here on PS Plus and they're new from last year, but they're already games that have like been out for so long that they're so cheap now that I don't know what value you're really getting. So
Right. Yeah, for
that's
sure.
that's the problem.
Yeah, so I mean, hey, so those are the games for PlayStation Plus, and I guess we'll see what ends up coming out next month and whatnot. See if it ends up being like another bigger title, or if they're just gonna kind of go down the list of like the PS5 collection games, making sure that they guarantee you get one of those again later on. But if that's the case, though, I just don't know why they changed the setup with like the PS5 games collection and taking it off. It's like you would have just
Right.
kept it. If you're just gonna end up releasing them slowly, one by one again. But yeah. So let's move on to the next topic we had then, and so we can talk about Microsoft's deal with Nintendo, and also like some talks that were held in conjunction with that. So it looks like Microsoft had made an offer to Nintendo as well as Nvidia for 10 years, so that it would add some icing, sprinkle a little sugar, powdered sugar, on the cake of of them trying to take over
Powdered
Activision
sugar.
and whatnot. So so
That's funny.
they basically agreed to a 10-year deal, saying that, hey, we'll release some, a lot of our first party games to the Nintendo as well as Nvidia, which is interesting because if you're telling me that, you know, you could possibly get Game Pass on the Nintendo Switch, that would be, crazy. That would be awesome. I don't know if you will be able to get Game Pass or if they'll just try to republish the dumbed down versions to be able to be playable on the Switch or what. I don't know exactly, how that's going to go. But I mean, they're trying to do whatever they can to make it seem like, hey, like this isn't as big of a deal if we own Activision. Like everybody's still going to be able to participate, get the games. Like nothing is going to change. It would just be like
Right.
having a level exclusivity, like what PlayStation had. But they presented that at the height of when all that stuff was going down and they were getting denied. Um, like they weren't approving that deal to go through because Sony was fighting back so much, and it looks like it just popped up again, and they were offering it to Nvidia as well. So it's like, okay, Nvidia has that little cloud gaming device that had just released like not too long after Stream had and whatnot, and I don't know if it has much weight on it, for people wanting to play it, but definitely, getting access to some Xbox games, getting Game Pass on there is definitely going to make it look a little bit better. I mean, they did. I think when the Nvidia game console did drop or released, they showcased a lot of the fact that you could use Game Pass on it. It almost seemed like they were trying to make a Game Pass device for Microsoft and whatnot.
Right.
So this is just like a continuation of that and whatnot. But it'll be interesting to see how the Nintendo thing goes. And I know that they were supposed to be having a meeting. The CEO Sony of Microsoft uh, and Activision, getting together to try to figure out, I guess, if they could come to an agreement or something like that would allow this deal to happen, because literally I think the only group that has done anything or come out against this is Sony.
Right. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be like the only fight here. Everyone else seems to be okay with it. And I don't really understand like Sony's argument, like they can't compete, right? Like that's their primary argument. Like they won't be able to compete with like in this game space, with like shooters and stuff. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like if that's the case, why isn't it a problem now? Like why is it all of a sudden isn't it shouldn't it be like, well, then no one should own this. No one should own Call of Duty then. because like you can't compete with it. So why does anyone own it? What does it matter who the ownership is?
Yeah.
Like if you can't compete with it, you can't compete with it regardless of who the ownership is. Like I'm not understanding like why that argument just doesn't make sense. And I think like that's the point that like I think Nintendo understands, which is
Hmm.
why like we're getting that deal here, which we never had this deal before.
Yeah, they don't
Right, so
have
this is only
a
like
lot
so
of Xbox
changing
games on
so
there. So
changing ownership is only like helping the industry because like Activision wasn't doing these deals before. You
right.
know what I mean? They weren't promising to put their game on our platform because it's too hard to do that, but Microsoft is. So all you're really saying is like if your argument is just like the space is you can't compete in the space, well then like isn't that the same the way it is now? What does it matter who the owner is? So I don't see how Sony wins this. I don't know what the argument is here.
Yeah, I mean the only thing I can think of is like if I own the game company and I have my own system and I'm selling it on my system, but then I say, hey, Sir Knight, I'll allow you to like I'll release the game on your system as well, so that you can have it on your system and people can play it, so that you feel like I'm not like trying to jip you or anything like that. You can get the same customers that been coming to you. They're just gonna buy that version of the game and then they're gonna play it on your console. And then you say, yeah, but you're still winning because ultimately the customers are still paying you for the game. They're just playing it on my system, and then you're taking a cut of that as well. So you're just winning too much. I
Yeah,
don't
but what
like
does
you
that
winning.
matter though? As far as like
Yeah,
what
it
does that
doesn't
what does that
matter.
matter?
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. The issue is it not being on your console. But if I'm telling
Right.
you that it can be on your console, what does it matter? Like
Exactly.
you want the
Exactly.
players. You don't want like
Exactly.
it's not your game to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna get a little bit of sales money because it's on your console. And you've got like whatever agreement you've got to get money off of it. Now maybe if they change that, with like, every, you know, 1% of sales or something like that, or 5% of sales goes to Sony for every Sony game that's sold, every PlayStation game that's sold by Activision or whatever. And maybe if they change that number, then yeah, okay, I could see maybe there being an issue. Like, okay, well, you're shortchanging me now. But if it's the same, I don't get it. It's either Activision was gonna get it or Xbox gets it. Like, what does it matter? Like, you're gonna get what you're gonna get, and you're gonna get the players. So I don't see how that can change and
Right.
be so
Yeah, it's like
detrimental.
yeah, exactly. It's like imagine like let's imagine like selling cars. There's only one company. Let's just imagine. There's only one company on planet Earth that sells cars. So they have a monopoly on cars, right? Like no one can break into that industry, right?
Right.
And then let's say, Walmart comes along and they're willing to buy that one car company. Like and then like Target comes along and says, "Oh no, that would make, it harder for us to break." How? That car company already has a monopoly. They
Right.
already have a monopoly. What does it matter if Walmart owns it now? The monopoly is the monopoly. The space can't be broken into. It doesn't make it harder or any easier for you to break into that space depending on who owns it. Right? It's either that game has a monopoly on shooters, which is like Sony's argument, right?
Mhm.
And you can't break into it, so it doesn't matter who owns it. Right? That's what I'm not understanding. Like with Sony's, like so, and then on top, but then like you're right. I mean, all Sony is worried about is their competitor making more money now. But that doesn't. But you'd have to make the argument that it's bad for the industry, and I don't
Yeah.
see how the industry changes at all depending on who owns that IP.
Right.
Right? Like just because your competitor is like more successful than you now isn't a reason for why like it's bad for the industry. That's what's so
Exactly. It doesn't
stupid,
it doesn't really add up. Exactly. It's just like, okay, as long as they don't make that game that you deem to have been so important on your console unavailable to your console, then you shouldn't be affected in any way. Like, it shouldn't even phase you at this point. It
Yeah,
should
it's
be
crazy.
business
It's
as usual.
exactly. It's even worse for Sony. It would be like Walmart buying that car company and then saying, "Hey, and we're going to let you sell cars. for 10 years at your store too. And they're
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, we weren't able to sell cars at all before when the Schmigiggins group owned that car company. You
Right.
know, now we can. Like, that's better for the industry. And then, like, so how can you argue like this isn't I don't know how Microsoft loses this fight. Like, what, I don't know what Sony could possibly be saying if their argument is that game is so big, like it's a monopoly, right? Well,
Mm-hmm.
then that doesn't change regardless of who owns it. So, like, I feel like it defeats their argument, you know.
Right. Yeah. It just, yeah, I don't know.
You know,
Yeah, it
so
definitely doesn't make sense. Yeah.
it's an uphill battle for Sony, and like when Nintendo agrees and Nvidia agrees, you start to look at Sony and go, "Hey, these guys are smaller than you, and they're happy, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
smaller guys than you,
Yeah, and they're gonna get
right?
like crappier versions than you.
Right? They're gonna get
Like
all updates.
their
They're gonna get
versions, their
everything, you know."
versions are gonna be trash compared to what you get, and they're still okay with it. Like they're down for this deal because we're not
Yeah,
excluding them out of it. And it's like, hey, they weren't in it before, and now they're in it. You know what I'm saying? Like we're literally trying to provide it to be everywhere. We want our Xbox titles to be available everywhere. You know?
yeah. It's so weird, man. It's the weirdest argument. Because like your market share is your market share. Like for Nintendo, they're gonna sell Pokemon copies to however many Pokemon fans there are. What do they
Mhm.
care if Microsoft owns Call of Duty? Like, the market
Yeah.
shares are your market shares. It's not like video games in totality. That would be a monopoly. Or like if there was only one company who had all the video games and no one else could like break through. Like, I get that, but no, Nintendo has their IPs that are going to make the money that they make. Sony has their IPs that are going to make the money they're going to make, regardless on who owns Call of Duty. It's so weird.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. I think Nintendo is like, dude, they jumped at the bit. 10 years, dude. Who knows if Call of Duty will even be big in 10 years from now? Who knows what will be in the future? Like, that feels like a deal like Microsoft is like proving like we're not trying to screw anybody here. Like, who knows what this game will be in 10 years? Honestly, no game lasts forever. You know, like at the
It's
very
gotta
least, they'll
have
have to
like
reinvent it.
yeah, it's gotta have crazy longevity because people are gonna eventually get tired. You gotta keep coming up with new stuff, you know what I mean? You gotta switch it up because you can't keep going with the same thing that they've been doing for like ever. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, exactly.
So
So Nintendo sees that, and then Nintendo's going to get all the benefit of when those changes come.
yeah,
You know,
right.
like, because they don't have to develop this game, and they get it on their
Yeah, they
platform.
just
Like, they don't have to spend the money to develop this game. Like, they're
right.
thrilled. Like, they're thrilled, you know, with like this deal. Sony is just Sony, man. I think they're losing that fight, and it's not going to look good on the end for them.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes, man. Because it's definitely gonna be something interesting, you know, to see how it ends up being.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
So, but yeah, man. So yeah, I mean they decided to have like a talk. They were getting together, a couple of them in the room to try to figure this out. Um, I saw something that almost stated that that they still didn't come to a possible agreement. You know that they've been holding some stuff, but I don't know. We don't have like any specific word yet. You know, just a bunch of claims from people. So we'll see. We'll end up seeing how it goes. You know, see
Yeah, I
what
don't know how.
what goes.
I don't see how they ever come to an agreement because Sony just doesn't want their competitor to make more money, no matter
Yeah,
what.
right.
And Microsoft isn't going to do anything that doesn't allow them to make more money. Like, so it's just like an impossible stalemate. You know, it's like
Yeah, yeah.
Sony's going
It
to be
just seems
like,
like
"We'll
it's
let
not
you
gonna.
buy it if you don't make any more money from it." But it's like, well, then why are we going to spend 70 billion buying it? You know, like, we
Yeah,
have
why are
time
we
to
even
make it
talking
more
about this?
profitable. Yeah, like, we're
Yeah,
spending so much money on this. Like, this could kill us. I mean, yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, man. I think that was all the stuff we had to talk about.
Yeah, big things there.
Yeah. So
Microsoft deal. Hope that goes through.
Yeah, so I guess we'll see what comes from the talk, and if it goes anywhere in the future and whatnot. That'll be interesting to see how they work stuff. So yeah, we'll peep it, from there. But yeah, so that's it. Yeah, man. If anybody checking this out or whatever, let us know if you got Hogwarts, if you're rocking with it. Um, if if you weren't really feeling it, let us know if you were feeling any of the PlayStation Plus games. If you're not really gonna deal with it, this month, just add them to the library. Don't waste no download space because it's always good to add a couple to the library. But yeah, man, and until next week, I'm definitely playing some Atomic Heart. Checking that out.
Oh yeah,
See
dude,
what's
I'm
good.
curious. Let me know what that's about. I'm about to play some Hogwarts here tonight. Now we're
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hopping
Go
off.
finish that
Probably
off,
play
man.
some
Get your
some Hogwarts.
Abracadabra going on
My
and all of that.
abracadabra spell, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, man. Until next week or next time, we'll catch you guys later. Deuces.
Peace.